My name is Carol Wylie, and we are in a studio space I share with 10 other artists called the Studio on 20th. It's a lovely space with great light, and we've been here for, I think, about 6 years. I have been practicing art for about 30 years, always portrait and figurative work. Ever since I was a child, actually, that's the only subject matter I've ever drawn or ever painted. And so I've focused in more and more on portrait work as I've gotten further into my practice. And I just love it. I'm fascinated by the human face. I'm fascinated by consciousness and how consciousness sits in the body and how we express ourselves and interact with each other. There's just something about consciousness. It's such a mystery. All the things that we know, and we can take a vehicle to Mars, and there's all kinds of things that science has discovered and understands that was never understood before, but consciousness still cannot be explained. For me, the sense that consciousness doesn't just exist in the brain or in the head, that you can actually take your consciousness to your big toe if you want to. Consciousness exists throughout the body, so that connection of who we perceive ourselves to be, or our identity, and how that connects to our physical appearance and our physical being is part of what I've been investigating for decades through portraiture, and how I can kind of touch the consciousness of another person through interaction and then through spending a long period of time creating a painting of that person. There's something about the materiality of painting and actually making marks with your hands directly that really appeals to me. It's almost like an unconscious thing, because your hand is connected to your brain and to your heart and to your intention and to create something directly without necessarily intellectualizing it or thinking too much about it. It's a very, very direct form of expression. You know, whether painting comes in or goes out in popularity, I don't care. There's something very satisfying for me about painting. And the other thing that always fascinates me about painting is that you look at a blank canvas and hours or days or weeks later, a world or somebody or something exists that did not exist previous to that, where there was just a blank space before. So most of the time when I do a portrait, I try the best I can to at least have a couple of hours with that person in my studio or in their space to be able to chat and let them relax and do some sketches so I get to know them a little bit, and we share some time, that there's some memory that I build up myself of this interaction with this person. Because modern life being the way it is, I don't have the time, they don't have the time to come and sit for me to paint from life for months on end or for weeks on end. So I do end up working from photographs in the end. But I only take those photographs after we've been together and interacting and chatting for about 2 hours, because I feel like whatever facade we might carry around with us is gone by then. And I get sort of a real sense of what that person's face looks like, honestly and truly. And I believe that the experience that we have really lives on the face and lives on the nuances and expressions of the face. So when I paint, all I have to do is really paint what I see. I tend to paint with quite thick paint, building up layers of paint and sort of interacting with the image over a long period of time with small kind of brushwork marks that build up the colors, warm colors and cool colors and all the nuances that I see in the face. And basically, to me, it's quite important to get a good resemblance, because I feel that in that specificity of the nuances of the face is where that person's personality is. So I'm often told of my work that it feels like the canvases are inhabited by the person. And I think that's why that is, because I'm really finding all those little details and responding to them in kind of a really loose kind of way, not kind of slavishly to them, but how I am responding to them. And I feel like that is what creates this sense of the person actually inhabiting the canvas.